Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. It's that time of year, your garden is coming alive, and it's very exciting for most gardeners. But then you notice a strange insect or some damage on some of your favorite plants. It's time to start thinking about pest management. Now, before I jump into active pest management, I'd like to go through how I've passively set up my garden in order to manage the pests for me. The first thing I have done is to encourage population regulation through predator species. I have released ladybugs in my garden a number of times to deal with outbreaks. Once released, the predators are able to take care of the outbreak that I may have. By leaving some areas relatively untouched and providing a food and water source, the predator populations such as ladybugs and spiders become established. The presence of these predators are usually enough to keep the pest species population numbers down. That said, I like to go further. The second passive method is through polyculture. This is a technique where you intermix plants. The pest species have a harder time finding their desired victims if they're hidden amongst non-desirable plants. If they do find them and the predators cannot keep them under control, you may face an outbreak. Last year I had a huge problem with cabbage moths and maggots attacking my brassica family plants. So this year I thought I would fight back. I did not plant any cabbage family crops in my garden. And the reason is, if this generation, this growing season of those pests don't have any food sources, that will greatly reduce their population numbers in my garden, making it a little more manageable for myself. That said, last year I did actively manage the pest outbreak to see if I could salvage any of the crops. The first and hardest thing to do is to identify the pest you are dealing with. It is important to know if the pest you see is actually the one causing the damage. For instance, ladybug larvae look nothing like ladybugs, but can do a lot of pest management for you. If you can take a photo of the pest or the damage on the plant that it causes, this is a great start. If I can't immediately identify the pest I'm dealing with, it's time to turn to the internet. So far, the most effective way to identify foreign pests is to ask the people on the Alberta Urban Garden Facebook page. They very quickly identified the last pest, and my friends on the Facebook page gave me some great resources, such as a pest identification website at the Royal Alberta Museum and organic ways to manage that pest. After you have identified the pest you're dealing with, it's time to start managing them. Each pest species is very different and may require a different strategy in order to gain control. However, here are some general tips I usually start with. Physical removal of the pest from the plant helps a great deal. I remove any pests and eggs I can see. If you would prefer to keep your distance, a hose burst usually frees them from the plant without bothering the plant too much. If this does not work, there are other methods you can continue with. At this point, I would recommend taking the photos of your pest and the damage that they cause into a garden center to talk to a horticulturist to ensure that you get the proper plan for managing them. I am very hesitant to use any type of sprays, whether organic or not, in my garden for a very good reason, is these sprays will often kill beneficial organisms like spiders and ladybugs just as readily as the pest you're trying to control. So if you wipe out your ladybug population or your spider population, you're much more likely to have an infestation later on in the growing season because you've eliminated your first line of defense. I would rather use an aggressive strategy like crop elimination in order to bring my pest species population numbers down to a manageable size. With my passive management strategy, for the last few years, I'm proud to say my garden has been completely chemical-free, and it's only been a handful of times that I've needed to actively manage a breakout. I would like to thank my friends on Facebook, and if you have not already, make sure to go check out the Alberta Urban Garden Facebook page. I will put a link in the description below. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.